Shingo, Mississippi.
All right,
I struggle with my
we've gone
geography.
live. So we are live for anybody watching us. If you happen to be watching us live, or if you're watching the recording of this after the fact, this is a little bonus show we're putting together between the Stormfront Freaks podcast and the B Squared podcast. We're here to celebrate National Weather Podcast Month. And everybody was at home this week anyway, and so we just thought, actually, Bobby's working a little bit, but we just thought, heck, we'd get everybody together, and I'm bringing Maz in, but we'd get everybody together and do a bonus show. So this is just kind of a bonus show. We're going to talk weather tonight. Nothing fancy. We're mixing in a little bit of what B Squared does and a little bit of what the Stormfront Freaks do on our shows. But hopefully just talk weather, have some fun. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for hosting, one, and two. We're super excited about this. So
Hi, you
Super
guys.
excited. Hi.
hi, Kim.
Hi, Bobby, Bonnie. How are you?
You're wonderful.
Good. Phil, happy.
Happy COVID-19 to you, Kim.
Oh,
How you doing?
I'm
Staying
doing
healthy?
good. You know, I think I had it. I don't know if it was in February. I was supposed to meet Jen for lunch over the weekend, and I thought I had the flu, and I went to the urgent care, and they did a test for the regular flu, and I didn't have it, and it tested negative. And he said, "No, you have the flu," and all my symptoms were exactly like the virus. And so I don't know. I think I had it already, but nobody in
you
my
done
family
some
had it.
traveling or something before,
I've been
or-
traveling. Now, the last time I traveled was
I missed the whole story. I can't hear Kim.
Oh, you can't hear me? Oh no!
The
I'll
rest
start
of us
over.
can, so I don't know what.
Got her.
You're
Can you
probably
hear her
better
now,
off.
Bonnie?
Yeah, I
No.
hear it perfectly fine. I hear Bonnie perfectly fine. Bonnie, you still hear me?
Yeah, I hear you and Phil, but I don't hear Kim.
Oh,
Maybe it's a
That's so weird.
limitation for your phone. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe you can only hear so many people on your phone.
oh.
I guess.
Are,
Well, I
are
got
you on
Maz.
a? Are you on your phone? Are you on a browser? Are you using a browser, or is it an app?
A browser.
That would be my only guess. Is that you've got maybe a limitation on the phone for how many
Maybe,
people
but
you can
I
hear.
think I can hear Maz, so I'm not sure. That's
Maz,
weird.
say something,
Aw.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix
Yeah.
my
Okay.
microphone.
but you can't hear Kim, huh?
Yeah, that's so weird.
I heard Kim.
Hi,
Why is it
Mass.
always my equipment that's messed
Hi,
up?
how are you?
No, mine usually is. Oh, Bonnie can't
Bonnie,
hear me.
Bonnie, try this. Bonnie, why
Yes.
don't you leave and log and come back?
Just kicking me out already.
Yeah.
Leave. No, but why don't you just log out and then just follow the link right back in and join us again? We'll see if
Okay.
that helps.
It's possible. It's possible.
All right. So Kim and Maz said he was sick earlier too. So maybe he was.
Oh, yeah.
He had it earlier.
It was
too.
Yeah,
not
Mass.
fun.
Do you think
was-
you had it?
It was like pneumonia. It was the
Yeah, you might
weirdest
have
thing.
had it. You might
Maybe.
have had it. I think I did.
I got it from
think I had
Kim. I
You
got it
did.
from Kim.
Hey, you guys, I watched your 100th. It was so awesome.
Oh my
Oh, I'm glad
gosh.
you did. We missed
I'm
it.
sorry I missed it. I flew back from Detroit. That was the last trip I made. After that, I haven't traveled since then, and all my travel plans have been canceled through
Yeah.
April.
We
so
got lucky. We got it in just in time. 'cause the
I
minute
should have. I know.
we got
I should
back,
have.
it was everything was shut down. So
You flew out of
Y'all could have
Atlanta.
been stuck here, though. Y'all could have been stuck here. We could have been doing this live.
True.
Bonnie or Bobby, where are you guys located?
I'm in Oklahoma.
Oh, you heard me.
Yes.
Yay!
We fixed it. Y'all just had to kick me out. That's all.
Good. Okay. All right.
I'm in Portland, Oregon. I'm up in
Okay.
the Northwest.
So I'm in
Wow.
Oklahoma. Bobby's up in Oregon.
Okay. All right.
Good.
So
Okay.
you joined the show then, right? The 100th. You were there for a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
yep.
Okay, that's
yep,
cool.
Bonnie was there for a little while.
Very
I was
nice.
jealous.
Well, cool. So here's what we're gonna do. Again, those of you joining us live, thanks for checking in. So we're gonna open the show however Bobby and Bonnie normally open their show, and so I'll let them kind of explain how that is. We're basically, and I emailed Kim and Maz. I emailed you guys. Kind of, we'll just talk weather topics. Is really kind of the name of the game tonight. I am gonna throw in a lightning round just for fun. before Maz leaves, because Maz has to leave probably a little before 9:30. So I'll throw in a lightning round maybe about 20 after.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
and then we'll just kind of talk weather, and then we'll all close it out. I would say let's not go more than an hour.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
perfect.
That'll work.
Yeah.
We'll just
Yeah.
we'll chat and do whatever. So
Mhm.
we need to. Who's got the squeaky toy?
Is that-
It's not
Mad?
me. It's my dog.
Your dog's got the squeaky toy.
Yes. I will kick him out if you want me to kick him out. Clyde, don't be that guy.
It is.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
kick him.
but it is annoying.
Thought it was a
to have
chair.
that squeaking in the background.
It's just Clyde. Let me kick him out. I'll be right back.
Okay. Otherwise, I'll just have you get back on your laptop again.
Poor little doggy.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, so cute.
here's our buddy. He's the often heard from,
Kicking the dog
very
out.
rarely seen member of B Squared. So we start the show off with welcome to B Squared, your weekly weather podcast. I am Bobby in Oregon. She follows with I'm Bonnie in Oklahoma. And so we'll just have you guys do that. I'm Kim from wherever.
Sorry, he has a problem when he's not getting
Wherever.
enough attention.
I'm Phil from wherever. And
I'm
then
the same
So-
way.
we'll just go right into it.
All
I
right.
felt
So
that.
we'll go Bobby, Bonnie, Kim, Maz, and then me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Perfect.
And then Bobby, you just take it from there.
And then we'll
Sound
kick
good?
it off. So, special edition of B Squared, your weekly weather podcast with our friends from the Stormfront Freaks. Woo! I know we'll
Yeah.
watch into.
Hey, I don't mean to be that guy, but I can't hear Bobby.
Seriously?
Now you can't hear Bobby.
I
Oh boy.
know.
Bizzle, you're killing me. But you can't hear me, so I can say that.
Yeah.
Somebody
that's
else.
right.
Does somebody know sign language or something?
That's gonna be a challenge because Bobby's probably gonna be chatting, I would imagine, a lot. How do we fix that? So you're probably in a position, Bonnie. My guess is you can only hear 4 people or 3 people at a time.
Probably,
Is
I
probably
guess.
the issue from the phone.
Do you want no? If you put me back in the green room and see what that does.
Check
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Still can't hear him.
Still can't hear.
Weird.
This cannot be my fault. I mean, I don't know. It probably is.
Check 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, my guess is it's a limitation with trying to do it on your phone.
Yeah.
Is my guess.
Let me think here.
So,
What? You can't hear from the green room, right?
We can kick me
you
out.
can,
It's cool.
you can. So
I can
someone
hear
in
from the green room.
But the problem is Bobby or Bonnie still can't hear you,
Sure.
whether someone's in the green room or not.
No, but what my thought was, it's like an IFB where she has like her laptop in the green room and she gets the audio
I
that
need the cricket sound right now.
still on the phone, still on her phone with the video plugged in.
She could try that. So, yeah, Bonnie. So here's what we'll do. Try. Yeah, but her audio is still gonna come through.
Her audio would come through. She'd have to.
No, she might be all right. So here, okay, Bonnie, do this. Go ahead and get your laptop. Fire it
Okay.
up quick.
And a second
Okay,
pair of
okay.
And log in as well. So keep your phone on. Your laptop can just be on the side. We're not going to use it. The only reason we're going to use it is let you plug in your headphones
Okay.
in hopes of hearing everybody. But
Okay.
you'll still talk to and through your camera or your phone.
Okay.
Yeah, have her get another pair of headphones so she can do one ear with the mic in her phone and the other ear she can hear from the laptop, if possible.
Is her mic coming off her headphones?
Yeah, it's one of those
Yeah.
Apple Dual. So one ear, because she won't be able to split the feed.
Bobby, you're like the tech man.
I know.
20 years
I'm
of
very
broadcast,
impressed.
radio and TV. So splitting dual IFBs for people has always been fun.
They always told me if I went into the audio room and I pushed that button, I could be fired. I'm like, what?
20 years of broadcast radio, iHeart, Alpha Media, Clear
Nice.
Channel, CBS, everybody. Yeah,
Wow.
Dang.
it's been a fun ride.
It
makes you lose your
You
hair.
don't look old enough to do
Oh.
that, Bobby.
I started when I was 18.
Oh,
I had
gosh.
gray hair by the time I was 20. So
Wow.
That toast was fun.
Yeah,
It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
I bet.
And then I went over to TV, and that was even more fun.
Hey, Bobby, send me that link to my personal email, would you?
Yeah, for the show.
Yeah, Bonster.
Will do.
Isn't that what I sent it to?
Yeah, but
I'm not seeing it. Oh, nope.
Oops.
There it is.
Well, there went my microphone. Shoot.
Whoa.
Sorry,
know.
guys. Hang on a
Down,
second.
Kim. Oh, Maz,
My
too.
blue snowball broke. I'm holding on to it. Like, oh yeah.
are you
Yours
doing,
did
Matt?
too? That's too
Yeah.
funny. No, that's weird. Okay,
my
hang on.
God.
Let me fix this.
It's operator error. I
I gotta
moved
make
it.
note here on the editing.
I lost a
What
part.
time?
No, I'm just bad luck causing the technical difficulties across the board here.
that's not you. It happens.
It is her, but that's okay.
She can't hear that.
Nothing wrong with that.
But if it's lightning, don't stand next to her.
Yeah,
Right. Right.
buy a lottery ticket. Speaking of, with Vegas closed down and most of the states closing down bars, restaurants, state money coming in from like video poker, and state resources
this being
are
this
have
way?
lost a lot of money.
Video
Wow.
poker. Who's out playing video poker and touching that crap?
Oh, you would be surprised. The
Oh
bar I
my
work
God.
at, we were in the top 15 busiest locations in the state of Oregon. And I mean, we would process probably in a week somewhere around $150,000
Oh
worth
my
of
God.
video poker.
Maz, are you Bob Barker in that mic right now? Or what?
I'm holding on.
Love it.
What happened?
Long story short, we moved the desk to Nebraska for my son, and then when we had to move him back,
There you
back
go.
on
Thank you.
Thursday, we forgot to bring that back, and so I'm on a card table right now. And then I moved the microphone, and I think there's a piece that's missing.
Well, what have you been using the last few episodes you were on?
No, we had moved it back after that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so the last
So
one
you
we did
just
from
moved-
yeah.
So you've moved it twice in the last month.
I don't know. There's a
probably.
part missing. I got to figure out where it is. Not right now.
Okay.
It says I got 19 minutes left. So
All right. How you doing, Bonnie?
I am getting there, I think.
This might end up being a 30-minute show anyway.
Yeah. We'll make it work. We'll fly through stuff.
Okay, so there I am.
Okay. You
I still
can't.
can't hear Bobby.
Okay.
Well,
So
but
what do
you
I
got to
need to
plug your headphones or plug a headphone into
Okay.
the laptop because you got to get the audio out of the laptop.
Mic check 1, 2,
Okay.
3, 4.
So audio out of laptop.
It's
Yep. And as he said, maybe try and stick one in one ear, and which is actually what I do. I've got two single earbuds, and one is going to the laptop, and one's coming
check
from
1,
my-
2, 3, 4.
I've got Bobby.
There.
Yay!
Oh,
Okay. We are in
brilliant.
Kim's muted, so we can't tell.
This is my fault. I've got janky equipment.
Yeah. Kim can.
Okay, so let's go ahead and we can start that again.
right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, Kim.
Okay.
You got everybody?
Yeah, I've got everybody.
All right.
Oh,
Ooh, screen grab.
Oh, I
Are you
wanna
using
do that.
OBS?
Okay, go ahead.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Let's kick it off here in 3, 2, 1. Welcome into B Squared, your weekly weather podcast. I am Bobby in Oregon.
And I'm Bonnie in Oklahoma.
And I'm Kim in Atlanta.
Is it my turn?
It is.
Oh, sorry. And I'm Mark in Cincinnati. I thought I was
Yes,
last.
and I'm Phil in Cincinnati.
Well, this is a special edition of B Squared with 3 additional folks. Actually, these guys are our good friends, the Stormfront Freaks. We wanted to throw together a special collaborative issue for National Weather Podcast Month. Guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you for hosting us. I'm really super nervous here. I know Bonnie is too, but thank you for joining
Oh,
us.
I was okay until the technical difficulties, and now I'm like,
We're
You can
good
go back-
friends. We're good friends because we owe you money, right? Is that the deal?
No, not at all. Not at all.
No, they owe us money.
Oh.
No, we might actually. Yeah, let's let Bonnie rack up a
Right.
text and walk out on the 100th episode. She might have, so.
That was fun. She was
the
great.
100th episode was good.
Yeah, we're super excited. it's awesome. Stormfront Freaks, these guys have been so great to Bonnie and I. This is our second year involved in National Weather Podcast Month. This is your fourth year, right, Phil and
Yes,
Matt and
fourth
Jim?
year. We started it in 2017.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, we're the babies of the group.
Yes.
But you guys have been so kind to us. You guys have, you walked us through everything last year, and this year has been a lot of fun, a lot of crazy stuff. We're giving away a handheld anemometer on our show.
Nice.
So yeah, if you want the details on that, you can go back and listen to our upcoming episode. Our last one will be taped on Sunday, or go back and listen to the 4 previous, and all the details of that contest are there. But if you watch the movie Twister, in the scene where Bill comes back to see the Storm Chasers for the first time, when they go unveil Dorothy, they're holding up a handheld anemometer, Joey, who's one of their tech guys. And so I have one of these. I gave Bonnie one for Christmas, and I have a third one that we're going to give away to one lucky member. You guys can win if you want. You just have to go through and listen to all the instructions. And yes, we
Get the words.
Okay.
Does anybody have a sling psychrometer?
Oh
No.
gosh.
those things are sweet, but
Those
How
are-
old you guys?
I think everybody in our lab ended up with head wounds. From their
Yeah.
sling. It was like, oh,
so
so
I totally can see that happening.
you can't give those away.
Hey,
No.
I will
It's a
tell you
lawsuit.
this. You just mentioned Joey. I just got a response back from his publicist
Ooh,
with interest about the show and
Wow.
possibly having him on the show. We'll see if that pans out or
Wow.
not.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Like
That's
I'm a
kinda
little jealous. So yeah, we're super excited to be here with you guys again. I'm super nervous. I'm a big Weather Channel fan, and obviously Kim comes from the Weather Channel. I watched Kim growing up as a young weather nerd, so I'm really kind of freaking out right now. That
Now you weren't that young, right?
I,
I
yeah,
mean, come on.
Yeah, Kim
no,
started there when she was 18.
yeah. So
Uh,
that part I'm just a little bit nervous of, but Maz is great and Phil is great. I love your guys' podcast. It's one of my favorite to listen to when I'm out driving around, when I'm tired of listening to Bonnie and I ramble on about it. But I really do love it.
I've never listened to one of our podcast episodes. I can't do it.
Seriously?
That's okay. Our co-hosts don't listen to our shows either, so
It's
I
hard.
subscribe to it, but I don't listen to it.
We
I never did
record
it at the
ours?
Weather Channel.
We record them? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What? They're available. So so just welcome in. We're honored to have you guys. We'll just kind of kick it off with something we had talked about in pre-show, where it's COVID-19 quarantine. Most of us are at home, not supposed to work. Unfortunately, I'm one of the essential people. I work at
Same.
Amazon during the day, so I'm out there processing your packages, moving them from point A to point B, getting them off to you guys so you can do whatever you need with the cleaning supplies. So how are you guys handling it? Anything happening? Are you guys going stir crazy, or kind of how are you dealing with this?
Well, I've become a teacher since this all happened. I don't know about anybody else,
Wow.
but my son, who is a senior, he's in special ed. He has Down syndrome. So the parents, now that the kids are home, I have to be the teacher. So we get all the information from the teacher every day. We have a list of things we have to do. And so I spend probably half of my day, if not more than that, working with Alex. And it's been actually pretty awesome. I have to say, I didn't realize how smart he was. I mean, it's terrible to say as a parent, but I didn't know it till I sat down with him. I thought, oh my goodness, he can read, which I knew he could a little bit, but not to the level he is. But so that's what I've been doing, and gardening, those two things. That's what I've been doing.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been great.
I'm tired of being in the same room for like 10 hours a day with a card table.
And a padded room.
Actually, believe it or not, my son is over here playing Xbox. What are you playing? Rainbow Six Siege. All right, so I'm slightly distracted in the background. I look at it in the mirror. I'm like, ooh, that was a good shot. Anyway,
Nice shot.
so yeah, so I about 99% of my day I'm working from home, and sometimes I
Hey,
got to get out
let
of
me
here.
ask you guys this: so everyone's home. What's satisfying your weather urges right now, sitting at home? What are you doing from the armchair to either check on the weather, check on storms? What are you guys using?
Oh gosh.
Bobby.
Mhm.
What's funny is I'm part of a really large weather community up here in the Pacific Northwest, where we constantly model ride. It's almost the point, like during the winter, it's almost dangerous for our health that we're living and dying by every 6-hour model run of the GFS or the Euro or the NAM or some of the high res models. And a couple of the models this week pointed to possibly a pretty strong spring storm moving up the Oregon coast, and it has fizzled out. And so everybody's kind of depressed about that, but just constantly just looking at models waiting for something exciting to happen.
Do you think the Weather Channel will name it Bruce? Bruce Spring Storm? Come on. Well, look at Phil. Oh, not happy.
Oh, really?
Fizzled out.
You've been waiting to say that for a long time.
I know.
haven't you?
He's
The
got it
whole
written on
year.
a post-it.
Truth be told, Bonnie and I went through and we looked at the tropical storm names for the next 7 years that are published,
Wow.
waiting to find out if there's a Bobby or Bonnie coming back into the cycle. So no, we feel you. We're totally all about naming storms.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, some people don't like it. That's for sure.
Oh,
Kim,
very
Kim,
true.
what do you do to keep your weather fancy going during times like this?
Well, it's been actually very crappy in Atlanta this whole year. It's been awful. I just look at pivotal weather. I do tropical tidbits. I'll go there every day and take a look and see what's going on. But and of course my phone, looking at the apps. But
Right.
really, I honestly will say this: I have kind of gotten away from tech stuff. I mean, using my phone, everything. This last couple of weeks, I have been pretty much staying away from news, and I feel better. So I've kind of gotten away from it a little bit. But I will check the weather. But that's really about it. And we've had some severe active weather here, as you know. A lot of rain. I can't. I know in Cincinnati it's been just as bad, but it's been pretty miserable. But we had some big storms come through the other night, severe thunderstorm warning that woke me up. But that's really it, guys. Honestly, I'm trying to tune it all out. So
Sometimes you got to detox
you do absolutely have to.
from the social media.
Exactly.
Hey, well, I hate
And
to
from the
jump-
alcohol too.
It's good. Yeah, I probably
As
had
I drink
more
my White
alcohol
Claw.
during this time, than any time. But hey, so I'm going to interrupt this, and I apologize for doing this so soon. But that is our typical sound for our lightning round,
Ooh.
I'll bring it
which
on.
is
Let's
usually
go.
our game show of brilliant and flashy questions that we tend to always play with our guests that we have with us. But this was one little tidbit I just wanted to have fun with you guys tonight and play as well. So we're going to play a little version tonight of The Price is Right.
Yes.
So you
I love
guys know
The
The
Price
Price
is
is
Right.
Right. So we're
Oh, yeah.
going to play a little Price is Right. And so Bobby, Kim, Maz, and Bonnie, you guys are our contestants. And I'm basically just going to introduce some products. And I'm just going to go down the line. And again, what you have to do is you have to guess the price closest without going over.
Okay.
Is this
Wins.
like the yodel one where you go,
Right.
oh, yodel?
No, I couldn't figure out how to make that work, man. That's one of my favorite. I just couldn't figure out how to make it work.
No Plinko or Plunko. What was it called?
Yeah,
Plinko.
Plinko, yeah.
Because you got to physically be there to drop that thing down the. Yeah, so none of that
Down
stuff
the
is going to
thing.
work. So we're just going to guess. We're just going to guess the prizes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen,
Okay.
and we're going to start with the first prize that's up for bid. This is the Kestrel 5500 weather meter. Takes 14 measurements, including wind speed, humidity, pressure, and more. So the goal is to come closest to and this is the Amazon price.
Okay.
So Bobby might have a inside track on this.
This
but,
is rigged.
But again, without going over. So I'm going to start, Bobby, with you. What's your bid?
$49.95.
$49.95. Kim.
I'm going to say 45.36.
Now, 45.30. Now, in
What?
Price is Right, you don't do cents. You're just doing dollars. So, Bobby, what are you saying?
We'll say
$4.99.
49. We'll say 49. Speaking of, however, if you do go on Amazon, you can buy this handy anemometer for about $20. Does include Bluetooth, and you can get a graph.
All right.
There's no
I'm cutting
marketing
you off.
during the middle of this.
Cheap plug.
All right,
What
so
are we
Bobby's
doing?
in at $4.99. Kim, what's your price?
45.
45. Maz?
$199.
Ooh.
199, and Bonnie
I'm gonna say 50.
50. All right, and the actual retail price on Amazon is $378. Maz.
Yeah, baby.
Maz wins
Those
the
things are
first one.
pricey. I was gonna say $299. Then you all pulled me down there. You know.
Oh my
Alright,
goodness.
So, next up is
Well, at
the
least we didn't go
Nikon.
over.
So this is
Right.
and so these are all kind of weather related, right? So here's a camera, the Nikon D3500 DSLR camera. Kim, I'm going to start with you.
Goodness. I'll say 450.
450. Maz,
200.
200. Bonnie,
325.
325, and Bobby,
451. Phil.
451. And the actual retail price is not in retail price. I should say the actual Amazon price is $397. Bonnie,
Oh,
you are the winner of a
Bonnie.
camera.
Bobby, we were
nice.
so close.
Wait. Did you just say she won the camera?
No, I was just.
Oh, I was gonna say,
I-
where's
Don't
my
get
anemometer?
I was kind of kidding, but okay. The next one I can't show because it was an Amazon link, and I thought I had it set up so it wouldn't show the price, but it won't. So you are bidding on a Davis Instruments 6250 Vantage View wireless weather station with LCD console. All right, so it's basically a personal weather station, has an LCD console from Davis Instruments. Mads, I'm starting with you.
199.
199. Bonnie,
675.
675. Bobby,
$200. Sorry,
Oh,
Matt.
you dog.
and Kim,
260.
260. And the actual retail price or Amazon price is $307. So the
Ooh.
winner is Kim.
Nice job.
Nice.
I need a new one. All right. Cool.
So there you go.
Now, had I seen the picture, I think I would have gotten it. So,
We give one of
Yeah,
those
you-
away every winter at the Oregon AMS. We raffle one of those off.
Oh,
nice.
really?
Put me in the raffle.
That's
Put me in the raffle.
I
All right,
might
the
have to get in there,
last
too.
product before we go to our, what do they call it at the very end? The contestant
The Showcase Showdown.
Showcase Showdown.
Oh,
Yep,
nice.
So we got a
Very
Showcase
good.
Showdown. So here we go. This is the Midland ER 310 emergency crank weather radio with solar USB charging capabilities and NOAA alert weather radio. Bonnie,
I'm gonna say 55.
55. Bobby,
150.
150. Kim,
Boy. I'll say $75.
75, and Maz.
56.
I can't believe no one
And
said
the-
$1.
The actual Amazon price is $60. So Maz,
Thank you. Sorry,
Maz
buddy.
won
Yeah.
that one.
No, wait a minute.
He
Aw.
won without going over, right? Okay, so this is our Showcase Showdown, folks. And all of you can, I'm going to let all four of you are on the Showcase Showdown. So here's what I'm going to offer. This is a round trip for two. And I'm just using LA to Orlando as my
Okay.
my booking price, but round trip for two from LA to Orlando for a week-long stay at the beautiful Mystic Dunes Resort and Golf Club in Orlando, and enjoy the home of the most lightning storms in the U.S., right, which is Florida. So, Bobby, I'm going to start with you on this Showcase Showdown. What do you think is the total price on that package?
Wait, how many days?
It's a full week, so 7 days,
Okay.
6 nights.
Okay. Gotcha.
Are we traveling Saturday to Saturday or Friday to Friday? Because it does happen.
Man.
Well, wait a minute.
Uh,
Is this regular prices or
We'll just say
COVID-19
Saturday
prices?
to Saturday.
I'm going to say $2,100.
2100 for Bobby again. So this is round trip for two
Correct.
people.
Okay. Okay.
So round trip for two, a week-long stay at the Dunes Resort Golf Club, etc. All right, Kim,
I'm going to say 2,800.
28. Maz,
700.
700. Bonnie,
2801.
2801. All right, we got to go in. Everyone overbid on that.
Oh.
So Bobby, going back to
Damn
you, the
it.
lowest was 700, so it's got to be
Wow.
directly 700.
So it's
It's
COVID-19 prices.
maybe.
There is
Yeah.
no
It's
way.
right now. If you're traveling right now,
Post-corona pricing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm going to say $5.99.
$5.99. Kim,
I'm gonna say $4.99.
$4.99. Maz,
Okay, I got to go 300 then.
300. Bonnie,
Yeah.
$6.25.
$6.25. Okay, here's the truth. You guys all had overbid, but Maz has got to go. So the closest to the price, the actual price was $293 right now. If you want to travel from LA to Orlando and stay for a week at the Mystic Dunes for
There's
two
no
people,
Wow.
way.
under $300. Maz, you win, baby.
All right.
So
Is that golf clubs included?
I got to get a whole suitcase of Purell to go, though.
the COVID-19 price on the golf clubs is probably pretty low too. So,
Oh my gosh.
so,
Thanks, guys.
Paper.
so thanks for playing. Thanks for playing, Maz. Congratulations.
Bye,
Thank you.
Maz.
You won,
Thanks.
so-
I'm heading out
Yeah.
now.
All
See you
right.
guys. Thanks again.
Absolutely.
CB&B.
All right, Bobby. What else we got?
So, we've talked about spring storms. Kim mentioned you guys had some roll through. We had a tornado go through Mississippi yesterday. I'm jealous because up here in the Pacific Northwest, we don't really get storms that strong until the summer season. And ours are usually high base that come off the Cascades. So if we get a severe thunderstorm, it's high base, lots of lightning, generally no tornado. So I'm very jealous that you three get to see a lot more severe storms than I do. But just a really impressive setup. We had the last winter storm go through, dumped all that snow from Denver all the way up through the northern plains, the Great Lakes. And then that southern component, again, the tornadoes, severe weather, that stuff just is fascinating. Bonnie and I talk a lot about on this show, especially, get the chase vehicle ready. It's chase season. So we're off and running, and, we've hit that officially that time of year.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely. Especially here in Oklahoma. We've got severe weather coming tomorrow, I think. So I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah, is that the same storm system that'll be hitting the Ohio Valley this weekend? Maybe severe, I think,
Probably.
setting up.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, tomorrow's Friday. God, I'm losing the days of the week.
I know. Yeah, right
Yeah.
now you lose track of that.
Yeah,
Kim,
I think I said.
Are you guys officially kind of considered in Dixie Alley up in Atlanta, or are you a little north?
I think we're a
east?
little northeast yet. I think where I live, north of Atlanta, we're probably closer to it, maybe northwest Georgia, I think, but maybe north central, northwest Georgia. But downtown, I don't think is in there.
Got it.
Yeah, it's more Alabama, of course, central, northern.
It seems like, and Bonnie, I don't know. It looked like Saturday. Is it tomorrow or tomorrow or Saturday? But that Oklahoma's in a. That's tomorrow, isn't it? That you guys are
Yeah.
in a. I don't have it pulled up, but
You're elevated.
it sounded like they were going to be moving pretty fast. They looked like they were going to move pretty quick.
Yeah, and it's just isolated storms, but yeah, the jet stream's going to be really strong tomorrow, so I think they're going to move pretty quick.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't even think there's going to be much that happens. Honestly, it's
Yeah.
not for me.
Yeah, I guess the question comes into over the weekend when it gets to the Ohio Valley, because I was looking at dew points are going to be in the 60s, and
Nice.
Indiana maybe overnight, maybe Phil for you guys in Cincinnati. But I think it's starting to occlude at that point. But anyway, we'll see. It should be exciting in the South too. There could be maybe a few isolated storms as well. But
Hmm.
because we've warmed up today was absolutely gorgeous. It's a little on the drier side, so maybe we'll have to. I'm sure that moisture is going to come up pretty quick, but we'll watch that over the weekend.
Let me ask you guys this. So, obviously, this time of year, golf moisture, golf air, big deal, kicks off these storms. When you have a day where it's not humid, what's it like for you guys? Because obviously, you want to probably get out and do stuff, but is it pretty rare to have a day where it's not that humid, or you say your dew points are maybe in the 50s, so not too bad?
I call it a good hair day. That's what I call Bonnie. I don't know about you, but
Yes.
when the humidity
Those
is
are rare,
low,
but yes.
yes, my hair does so much better. But yeah, I think, it's definitely, for Atlanta anyway, it's more summer where the dew points are pretty miserable for a couple months.
Mhm.
But the rest of the year, it's not bad. I mean, it's usually 40s, 50s. It's actually very pleasant, I think. A little humidity is good, but I hate it when it's in the 60s and 70s. And
Right.
no, that's horrible. But yeah, we don't have that maybe a couple months of the year. That's about it.
Well, we were 92 today, but our dew point was 36. So that was
Nice.
nice. It was just a dry heat. It was still hot, but it could have been worse.
Yeah, I think everybody loves it when it's lower humidity. I don't know many people that
Yes.
like the high humidity, but I definitely like lower.
They need to be checked out if they do.
I agree. I agree. My hair gets curly when it's humidity, but
Mine
why I
just
don't
gets
like
gross and flat and blah.
everybody does opposite. It's different.
Uh,
What about you, Phil?
Yeah, mine.
What's your
mine,
hair doing, Mickey?
Mine starts getting really wavy, and it'd be hard to tell.
Clearly.
But it gets really. I do have a slight. Actually, my hair does have a slight curl to it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need proof.
I had curly blonde hair when I was a kid.
Really? Oh,
Wavy, curly blonde hair. Yeah.
We want to see it. Come on, post it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Come on.
Bobby seen my photo. I had
I
a
don't own
photo.
any of those.
You know what? I will say this.
Lies.
I will say this though. When I lived in Ohio all those years in Cincinnati, I think the summers, and maybe because I was younger, I felt like they were more brutal than Atlanta. Phil, I mean, what do you
Really?
think
Then
about
Hot
that?
Atlanta?
I
There's a
do.
reason they call it Hot Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
They
just
don't
because I was
call
a
it Hot
kid.
Cincinnati.
They don't.
Yeah, you're a
I
kid.
don't-
You don't
you know, I
care.
don't
You're like,
know.
I'm sweaty. Whatever.
Yeah. So I
guess.
grew up in Minnesota, and summers last about 30 days, 60 days there at the most. But it would get very humid up in Minnesota. I mean, we
Yeah.
had a lot of farmland and corn and lakes, so it would get pretty humid in Minnesota in the summers. So I don't know. I've been to Atlanta a number of times, and I don't know. I might disagree a little bit that it's any more humid up here than it is
all
there,
right.
but-
Yeah. I mean, I think it is, but it just felt different, I guess. I don't know. But I like Atlanta. We get all the good seasons here, so it's good. It's good.
You mentioned, severe storms, and I kind of want to switch topics real quick, especially Kim with the TV stuff, Phil as well. There's a lot of debate going on right now. When do you and when do you not interrupt coverage or, national program or even local programming for storm coverage? We seem to have this debate every year. Last year, it really kind of kicked off around the Masters. And you even saw guys from ESPN live tweeting like, oh, I can't believe that, my TV station broke into coverage of a tornado that might not even be on the ground yet. But what are your guys' thoughts about breaking into coverage? Me personally, having been there on the production side of it, I think, more storm coverage is good. Maybe that's just kind of the weather geek or TV and radio guy in me. But what's your thoughts? When do you break in and when do you not?
Oh boy, that is a really tough one to answer. I always thought if there's a tornado on the ground, I think that's worth breaking in and going, just taking over the whole thing and going live with that. But if it's radar indicated, if it's hail, whatever, maybe have a lower screen or something that shows the radar or shows a person showing the radar, advising people to go to their local channel or whatever. That's my thought. I thought as long as you're getting the point across, maybe at the bottom of the crawl or another screen, a side screen, giving that information, I think I'm okay with that. But if it's a tornado on the ground doing damage, that's where I think maybe you go in. That's my thought.
I'm kind of disappointed that the technology hasn't gotten to the point yet where we can do one of two things, which is either get real specific to where the weather threat is and reach just those homes or homes in the general area or path of that storm. Or as Kim talked a little bit about, of just, we do have the technology to do picture in picture and be able to do something where you're broadcasting the importance of, hey, there's a tornado on the ground, here's where it's at. But if they're watching the Masters or if they're watching something like that they're also, doing a little picture in picture at the bottom, maybe without the sound, but at least you're showing the picture or you're showing something. It might not be ideal, but I'm shocked that we don't have the technology yet at this point to better handle that situation. It's like, to me, it's like the weather radios. When they started, before they had the same technology, you would just, if you were getting your signal off of that broadcast tower and there was a tornado warning within some county that was covered under that broadcast tower, your radio would go off in the middle of the night.
Right.
And it might be a county that's 5 counties north of you.
Right.
For example, I'm just throwing that out there, but and so you weren't in the path, it wasn't near you. And then they developed that same technology that allows you to get real specific, that it's only going off if it's in your county, or if you choose which counties you want to hear warnings for.
Right.
That we can't do. And weather radio technology is nothing fantastic or
Fancy.
new. I mean, that's old stuff, right? So I'm just shocked that we don't have a better way to handle that.
Yeah, especially since, we're able to give such detailed forecasts now, right? Or just at least track the tornado. We can give you, what road it's on, and we can forecast that out. So that even makes it more localized. So then, but we're still talking to a broader audience. So we almost have done a little disservice, right? In some ways, that we're able to pinpoint specifically neighborhoods, but we're broadcasting to the whole Atlanta metro area. Where before we couldn't get so detailed, so it was more acceptable, I think. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
No, I think I totally understand. But I think if you, I don't know, because it's tough, and maybe this may be more geared toward, like, say, Oklahoma City and Bonnie. But when you have an event like the El Reno tornado, where it's so big and there's so much happening, and there are so many people, schools, hospitals. I mean, you name it. Anytime, like you see on the Weather Channel or any local station, where they draw out the timeline, and it includes how many hospitals, and the National Weather Service does this on there when they put out the things, how many, estimated population in it. I think it's really tough, though, that you just isolate it down to one area, because at some point you could have multiple tornadoes on the ground, which we've seen in outbreaks, right? And so how are you going to deal with that? Well, if you have multiple tornadoes in one county warning area, how do you pick and choose? So I think I'd rather break into coverage and just say, hey, we apologize for it. In the back end, we don't have to get into the, all the hate that meteorologists get for, breaking into coverage. It's not necessarily their call on that. They're absolutely the focal point of it, because they're the ones that understand the science of what's happening. But, the decision to break in is not just the weather guys. It's a whole team member, starting with your news director all the way down.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's worth it, because when it comes to tornadoes and stuff, you have minutes. You don't really have a long lead time. So if you got to bust into the NFL game or the Masters or whatever, then you just got to do it sometimes,
That caused such a huge, I felt so sorry for the local girl for, I think it was CBS 46. It was awful. Actually, that's where I did some freelance work there, and I knew her, but that was awful. Yeah, I don't know. That's tough, guys, because,
it's being
so many people
a hard place.
You are, because it's not affecting everybody that's watching. Right. So it's almost, I almost wish you could say, hey, if you live here, go to this other channel, because we have all the details. And I don't know. But yeah, Phil, I'm surprised too that there isn't something yet, but maybe there will be.
I like the video you shared, though, on y'all's Twitter, the weather guy that just went off on everybody, giving him the hate, and he was like, "Oh, we're gonna have to get over it. I'm breaking in." I was like, "You go, man."
That was one of our hashtag weather fools. Was
go look at doorknob
on the troll.
Yeah,
I'm all about it.
Yeah.
When I interned at the ABC affiliate here with Rob Marciano, who's now at ABC, we would get calls all the time for people. Especially here, we get like a late season snowstorm, and there'd be weekend golf, and they'd be in wall-to-wall coverage of snow. And snow in any major metropolitan area is a headache. There's no doubt about it. But the West, as it is like in Atlanta and Oklahoma City and even Cincinnati, one snowflake falls and everybody loses their mind.
True.
And when you go into storm team coverage like that, people are calling, I want my golf. I don't care about the snow. I'm stuck at home. I want to watch something else. And so, you have to find that balance of, is it newsworthy or what? So
Right.
that's just a tough part.
Yeah, I think it has to be a real threat, because if it's not, then you just really anger people, and if you do it too often, it has the opposite effect, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I think that's where streaming though also comes in too. You know, you can stream. I Bonnie got me hooked on Oklahoma News 9, so I'm constantly watching that anytime there's severe weather around Oklahoma City, and I'm just watching on stream. You know, I'm nowhere near. I'm not in the DMA. I just watch, and you know, it's fascinating stuff to me. So that's another option that they could do. But
well, that's true. That's true.
it's tough. You have to weigh safety versus, you know, your broadcast license, right? You're there for a reason, for the public good. So
Yeah.
Phil, I know you had some other topics that you wanted to also bring in. So what?
Oh,
Phil,
heck, let's talk about this. So obviously, with you guys and your podcast is always big on current events and talking about current weather events. So we on our show we don't cover a lot of current events. You know, the focus is kind of on the guest and chatting with the guest and finding out about the guests that we have and things of that nature. But I do like talking about current events, and so let's go. I want to go back. Obviously, we're in COVID-19 shelter in place, lockdown right now, and what's interesting is two things that have come up that I've noticed from that on a weather standpoint. One is that our weather models are potentially becoming less accurate right now because there are fewer commercial flights in the air that collecting data for our weather models. Which is kind of interesting. But the other thing, and maybe this is what we can talk about, is storm shelters with the whole social distancing situation. And we've got storms, Bonnie, in your neck of the woods coming up, and some coming up here in Illinois and Indiana on Saturday near my neck of the woods. And these storm shelters, some are closed because some are schools that have closed. And you still have this social distancing kind of rule. How are you going to do that if you're trying to evacuate to a storm shelter? So I guess, what are your thoughts on that? Bobby, I'll start with you.
You know, again, we're weighing the risk of benefit and reward, right? Obviously, if there's a tornado, immediate thought is, okay, you have to seek shelter. There's no doubt about it. And if, you know, my neighbor, say, you know, fictitious lady named Lacey, Lacey's got a cough and a sneeze. Well, you know, chances are it's allergies or the cold, right? Maybe it is COVID-19. We don't know, but I would rather be in a place where I know that I'm going to live and she's going to live, and then I can deal with the, you know, the after effects of if I do end up being exposed to it. But man, it's tough. It really is tough. You know, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? But I would rather seek immediate shelter for a tornado and live through that versus not live through that. And even if you have COVID-19 at that point, it doesn't matter.
Bonnie, what do you think of these the shelters? Some of them being closed. Do you think that's fair? Do you think they should be open? Or
I think it makes sense. I think we're still in the month of March. There's still time to prepare. You know, it doesn't mean go buy a storm shelter. Those are expensive and probably can't get it installed in time anyways. But figure out your safe place in your home, your hall, your closet, bathtub. Maybe you're going to your mom's house despite social distancing, but there's time to prepare, and that's what we would need to start doing now.
Well, maybe we should think about putting, well, this is after COVID-19 is gone. There's just more supplies for everybody, but maybe putting masks and stuff like that. If it happens again, then you have to worry about it, Phil. Then you've got your mask and you're with a bunch of people in that room sheltering. I don't know.
That's a good
point. You know, that's interesting.
You know?
I think this is going to change how everyone does everything going forward. Just
definitely
work and all those things are going to be rethought.
Oh, my son, actually, this is kind of off topic, but my son, we just did speech therapy on Zoom. So I'm thinking, why would any therapist want to do anything like, why rent a space if you can do this and get paid the same, you know, over the internet? But anyway, kind of cool. But so I think,
agree.
I think we're going to see a lot of that going forward. But yeah, I think maybe we think differently about what we stock in our supply rooms and our shelters. I mean, I don't know.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I mean, and it'd be anyways to have gloves, obviously, stuff like that too. Mask wouldn't be a bad idea in the event you come out and say, your house has been relocated or something's happened and you're not sure, you smell gas in the air. I mean, a mask can go a long way in keeping people safe. But, Bonnie actually has a storm shelter in her garage.
Nice. It's a safe room. It's above ground. It's a safe room, but it is small. Like there'd be two of us in there face to face.
Yeah.
And the dog.
But you're still going to survive. And so at that point.
Yeah. And I think that's part of it is you just got to address the immediate threat. And you don't have time to debate, well, coronavirus is going on, but there's an EF5 coming down my street. What do I do? Like, you know what I mean? You just kind of act.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I think our commenters are saying, get out there and chase. That's the
All right. Well, let's do this. Let's close with this since it's National Weather Podcast Month. I kind of I figured it'd be worthwhile that we talk a little bit about what got us involved in a weather podcast or what got us involved in setting up a weather podcast. And I'll kind of start it off by mentioning, when I had been listening to podcasts. So we started back in 2016, and I'd been listening to podcasts for probably about a year. And I thought it's just a really neat medium because it allows you to listen to what you want to listen to as opposed to turning on a radio station. If it's talk radio, you got to listen to whatever they're talking about, which you might not have any interest in, or music, which is great, but it's not necessarily benefiting my life at all. I'm not learning anything necessarily. And so that's what I really bought into podcasts. And I'd been attended a severe weather symposium held by Ohio State University. And it was while I was there that I just kind of pondered the thought of how can I take this kind of interest in weather and maybe create a podcast out of it. And the funny thing is I looked to see, okay, who else is doing this? So this is March of 2016. And I looked, and the only podcasts that were doing anything on a regular basis, meaning they were doing a show on a regular basis and that they were on iTunes, which for the most part, if you're not on iTunes, I mean, that's the one that most people listen to, right? Was Weather Brains. Now, Weather Brains, of course, part of Weather Podcast Month. They'd been doing, they got 10 years on us, right? And they got, 12, 13 years on you guys. So, so they got a lot of time. They've been doing it for a long time. So they were in the mix. Carolina Weather Group, also a part of Weather Podcast Month. They had been going for a couple years, and they still do kind of change up their medium a little bit. They do a lot of video stuff. They had done a lot of audio stuff. Now they're kind of tapping in the audio stuff, but they really dabble. They're kind of the mad scientists, I think, of the weather podcast industry, and they do a great job with both. But they were around, and then there was another one that had just started like a couple months, 2-3 months prior. And that was it. There were 3 of them, and so that's what got me going. Okay, we're going to do this, and I'm going to set it up. And I kind of reached out to a few folks. One was my brother. So the fun thing is I get to do this with my older brother.
That's cool.
He's a storm spotter. He's a net controller for their county Skywarn amateur radio group. So, big interest in weather. And then I went to, and Kim, I don't know if you know much of the story, but then I went to Maz, Mark Massaro, who I knew because I had worked with him. He is a former TV meteorologist, primarily in the Cincinnati area, but he had been in Grand Rapids and elsewhere. But he wasn't in the industry anymore. But I'm like, if we're going to be, legit, we got to get some like serious weather background person or place. And so I asked him, and he was in. And then I'm like, okay, so we're good. So I reached out to a few more people. My goal was to always be something that was going to be first entertaining, and secondly, provide some education, right? So that people could listen. You don't have to be a meteorologist to listen to our show. It's really more entertaining and fun. Yet if you're a meteorologist and you listen to our show, you're still going to learn great things because of the great guests that we have on. We have some great co-hosts as well. But the cool thing is our co-hosts come from all different avenues of the weather industry, from storm chasers to TV meteorologists like Kim and Maz, and weather producers, Bobby, like you. Dina's a weather producer in the background. And we got just a real cool, eclectic group of people. And so it gives different ideas. And that's what I love about it, is we all have different ideas and thoughts. And we've really put together a fun team. But Kim, I'm going to just shoot to you before we get to Bobby and Bonnie. I guess what got you deciding to get involved in our show?
I had so much fun. I was a guest. So
Sure.
Dina, I worked with Dina at the Weather Channel for many years. And I guess it might have been, I don't know how long it was after I left the Weather Channel that she reached out to me and said we want you to be on our podcast. I'm like, what's a podcast? I didn't have a clue. I had no idea.
That's cool.
So I had to, do a little research and like, okay, sure. And then of course, Phil reached out. I talked to Phil for a little bit, emailing back and forth about everything. And so when I was a guest, I loved it. I had so much fun. And I thought, this is really cool. What a cool idea, especially the fun part. I loved working at the Weather Channel. I loved being on air. I loved working behind the scenes and all that. But I think just getting together, talking about weather when it's fun and light. Sometimes we get serious, but a lot of times it's just fun. And just the little, I don't know, just the guests that we have on there and people that I had never met or talked to. I'd seen them on TV and it was really nice to do that. So after I was on, I think it was even actually during the show when I was a guest that Phil, you said something to me about, well, Kim, how about joining our team? And I was like, okay, sure. And then that's where I am.
Yeah,
so
I still remember it. It was something that you were talking about. Maybe it was being at the Weather Channel, but there was something, Kim, and how you were saying it. Like, yeah, like I could tell there was part of it you missed. Like you really, it's like you were out of the weather industry and it was kind of hurting you a little bit and you kind of missed it. And I might have just thrown something out at the time, but I do remember afterwards, because I do feel that it was a little divine in the process too, of going, I should just ask her, because she really seems like she still wants to keep a foot in weather somehow, some way.
You're right. And what's so true too is that all those years of having to worry about how you look, how you sound, what you say, and it was getting kind of more political, and it was getting to a place at the Weather Channel where I didn't like it as much, being television. And I did some freelance work at CBS 46, and same things were going on there. And I'm like, I think I'm just done with the TV side of it. But I missed it, like you said. I mean, I really missed it. I missed talking to people about it, and I missed some of my friends. So it was great being on there with Dina too, and meeting all you guys. So yeah, definitely, Phil. If you felt that, you were absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yeah. So I'm very thankful.
Cool. All right. So I'm Bobby. I want to know about you and Bonnie. What got you? Where did this B Squared come from?
Well, I got to go back until I've been involved in podcasting, since about 2003. I was the executive producer of a podcast called Sports Business Radio. It's the show that we launched out of the radio station I was working for in Portland. Our first guest was at the time David Stern, the NBA commissioner. And so I got an email from my program director, said, hey, I want you to work with these two guys. They've never done a show before, so we're going to launch it. The first guest is David Stern. I'm like, okay.
No pressure.
If that's the first guy, then okay, these guys are serious. And so, I was with the guys through the ride where we were on daily radio for a while, and then it became a weekend show. And then we got this technology called podcasting, and we were one of the first to launch with Apple and took the show into national syndication. And the podcast has remained to this day. It's still one of the iTunes top 50, and I'm loosely associated. The host is still one of my really good friends, but I've done that in my entire radio career, where it's just been every show I've ever worked on and produced. We always created the podcast at the end of the day. And so, working in radio, being the news junkie I am and the weather junkie I am, I missed having that outlet. And when I left the ABC affiliate here in town as their producer and intern, I didn't really have that outlet except for like my AMS group. But always passionate about it. There was no doubt about it. And, I stumbled upon Bonnie one afternoon on Instagram. I wanted to go to Oklahoma. She was at Oklahoma, and I was like, oh, cool. Another weather geek that, is at OU. This is great. And so we just struck up a friendship. And for, like 3 or 4 years, we had gone back and forth like, oh, we should do something together. It'd be great. And finally, I got laid off from iHeart just about 3 years ago. And at that time, I was kind of, looking for something to stay within the broadcast world, applying for jobs all across the country. And so I created my own podcast, and it was awesome. And then I was like, you know what? I know Bonnie really wants to get into doing something like this. I would love to have a show. And so we put our heads together and we created B Squared. And here we are 90 episodes later. It's been a very interesting ride the last year and a half, coming up on 2 years. But, man, it's been a lot of fun.
Oh, I bet.
Definitely a lot of fun.
So
this
I
is
guess
my only podcast I've ever done. And I've never
really
done anything like this. I'm not from radio or broadcast or anything. I'm just weather obsessed. So that's where my portion of the podcast comes in. I mean, when I was in 4th grade, we had one of our TV meteorologists come teach us weather safety, kind of like James Spann does. It was Steve Crono. I don't know if any of y'all know who that is, but he came and just talked about weather safety. And from then on, I was hooked. I went to Rose State College. That's where I got my associates in meteorology. And Steve Crono was one of my professors there, which is just crazy. So I got my degree from him, and I'm just, I would have never guessed that he would have been a professor at any college ever. So that was crazy. I want to get him on our show at some point, hopefully.
Yeah, we got to get him on.
And I did go to OU for a little bit. I'll tell you, their meteorology program is no joke. Like, you better strap in, because it beat me. So I do want to go back, but I did not finish my bachelor's degree.
Yeah,
So.
I'm sure. It's very intense, I'm sure. So.
It is. It's all math. It's not even science. It's literally all math.
Yep.
Well, let's do this to close up. First off, let's cover you guys, Bobby and Bonnie. How can our listeners and viewers find you guys?
We're available on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Our big thing is Twitter. You can find us at Weather Podcast. By the way, going through here, I was like, we're going to create a weather podcast. I'm thinking there's no way in the world the term weather podcast would be available. And lo and behold, it's out there on Twitter. I'm like, okay, this is meant to
It's
be
ours.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Weather Podcast. And then on Facebook, you can find us at B Squared Weather.
Cool. And then for us, if you guys are listening to B Squared, you can find us at stormfrontfreaks.com, or you can also find us on Twitter at stormfrontfreak without the S. We're also on Facebook and Instagram as well. Just search Stormfront Freaks. What's coming up for you guys? What do you guys? Obviously, you're getting close to your 100th, but any cool things you guys have planned for your podcast coming up?
Oh gosh, Bonnie, do we?
I mean, we do. We're going to try to move from just audio to video also. Yep. That'll take a little bit of cash, but we're going to try to work that out and make that happen. I mean, I guess we're doing it right now. So that means my janky equipment, I should probably get a couple of upgrades.
Really good.
Yeah. The government's going to be sending you a check here anyways, regardless. So.
That's true. Literally, it's crossed my mind, and I'm like, maybe I should be smart with this and not buy lighting for a podcast or something.
Well, I'll tell you, if you watch any of our previous shows, early shows, it's no different. I mean, we were a bunch of goofballs and had no clue what the hell we were doing.
But that's what
we got to start somewhere, I guess.
We still don't, yeah.
But that's what makes it fun. I mean, the fact that we can ramble on, and people are just like, people listen to you for an hour ramble on. Yeah. We're just having fun, and that's, I think, the key thing for my show, and I know yours as well. As long as you can connect with your audience and have fun and be engaging, that's honestly all that really matters.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Definitely.
And we've got coming up our next show next week, so we'll record live Thursday, April 2nd. That'll be episode 102. That's going to be we got Jim Cantori coming back to the show. So
good deal.
So we're gonna have Jim back. So that'll be fun to chat with him, and we'll have a good time. So you guys got anything else to add before we close it up?
just a reminder that we're giving away the handheld anemometer. Our fifth and final keyword of the contest comes up this Sunday on our show. I won't tell you what it is. We've said it actually about 300 times tonight on this show. I've been kind of
That's
counting in the
the
back
words.
of my head how many times we've said it, but you'll have to make sure you tune in and listen.
Very good. All right, so I think that just about does it for this episode. So for Bobby, Bonnie, Kim, and Maz, I'm going to go ahead and signal the all clear, and we'll catch you guys next time. So have a good night, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Yay.
All right, thanks, guys. This was
Thank
fun.
you. That was fun.
That
Well,
was
it's
fun.
so nice to meet you guys.
You too.
I really appreciate the opportunity to be on here. And Phil, good to see you. I'll
Great
see you
to
in
see
a
you.
couple
I'm
weeks.
glad. I'm glad. Hopefully you had it and got over it. I guess is
I
the
think-
good news.
yeah.
You can.
So
help
hold on, wait a
our,
minute. I missed the story at the beginning because we were having technical issues. What happened?
I'll
Yeah.
just make it quick. I thought I had, I think I did looking back on it. I thought I had the flu. I had a fever about 101.4, but it would come and go. I'd feel good. All of a sudden it would hit me. I have asthma anyway. So it was, I was having a hard time breathing. And so I went to urgent care and they did a swab. He said, "Oh, you probably got the flu." And it came back negative for the regular flu. And this was early February. And he said, "No, but you have the flu. I know you have it." So they treated me with a Z-Pak, a breathing treatment, and Tamiflu, because it was like I caught it within the first 36 hours. So, and Tamiflu, and I was good by day 3. I was feeling much better. But I look back on it and I'm like, I'd been
Did you have a
traveling.
cough? Like, were you coughing? Was
I
it-
didn't have a cough. I did not have a cough.
Okay.
So, and then
Did you have a sense of smell and taste?
funny you said that. It was off and on, the smell, the together. So I really think I had it. Now, nobody in my family, nobody else came up with any other symptoms like that. So I don't know, but I've had the flu before, but I've never felt, it was a weird sickness, whatever it was. But I look back at, maybe
I'm
I
glad
did
you're
have it.
better.
Yeah.
I
it
will
was
tell you,
really
the Monday
good,
after
good.
your 100th show, I was diagnosed with the flu. Never had the flu in my life.
Really?
And I was out for a week. I was on my deathbed, I'm telling you. It was the end.
Well, but didn't
But it was
Maz
the
as
flu
well?
100%.
Yeah. Was Maz after that too?
Maz is like the
Wait a
one
Who
thing
did it
after
to who?
that.
Exactly.
Yeah, Maz had it. I'm trying to
Wow.
think if someone else was Jen talk. No, I think Jen was.
Yeah.
I thought someone else said and I thought it was Jen too. Said they were a little under the weather.
Maybe.
I
But
had some
yeah,
exposure
my
to it.
God.
And I was actually quarantined. My county health department called and they actually put me in a 5-day quarantine and I had no symptoms. They were super great to deal with. They even dropped off a thermometer and told me they'd go buy me groceries if I needed it.
Wow.
Wow.
So I'm literally stuck here in my room for 5 days, but I feel great. So
Oh, awful.
Gosh.
Oh, you guys.
Well, Kim, I hope the rest
yes.
of your family stays healthy then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was way back in early February. We're all good. Anyway, you guys
Good.
too. Stay healthy and
Yeah.
and hopefully we'll connect again soon.
Take
absolutely.
care.
Yes.
Thanks, Kim.
New Weather
All right.
Podcast Month tradition right here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. All right, guys.
All right. See you, Kim.
Thank you
you.
guys.
Phil, thank you so much, man.